All right, we need to go into Tuesday tangents. So the Tuesday tangent that we have right now was we were talking about modifying monsters. So I'm gonna start with I am John from Tabletop Wisdom, and I probably at least 80% of the creatures that I run are an entirely modified version of a monster manual, something or other. Mind you, I do run a lot of things from the different Eberron books.
Mordenkainen's.
Mordenkainen's. Oh God, the good book. Mordenkainen's. That's the good book. But the vast majority of things that I run, I am editing in some form or another, or wildly adjusting it from what it is, or giving it a ton of abilities. I don't know about you. The reason why I do this is because almost all of my players are DMs. They know all of this stuff. If I throw a goblin at them, they probably know what its saving throws are. They know everything it can do. I can't surprise them with the basics. This isn't going to be true for all DMs because a lot of DMs might not have players that have the knowledge bank of all of that stuff. But for me, it makes it a fun decision making process of building new and interesting things, puzzles for them to solve in combat, adding different fight mechanics through hazards or other things. You can still keep even those basic things from the monster manual interesting in their own way or facet, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about you? Do you adjust your creatures?
Well, obviously, I do adjust my creatures. There's always that delightful Pando Parrot that almost caused a double party TPK situation. First by the Pando Parrot's or its claws and beaks, and the second by.
Let me just clarify. When he says Pando Parrot, he's stealing from Owl Bear. He's just swapping the what the thing is between the bird species, the avian species, and the bear, and he's converting it to something else. This isn't a This is just a reflavored owlbear. Let me make that clear. Anyway,
Actually,
go on.
John does more of a thematic, bigger, detailed combination adjustments to his monsters where he adds it's like fire effects to a goblin blend or a strange weapon armament system to a creature, or he
additional abilities.
Additional abilities
feats.
On top, like
give them feats.
Yeah, give them feats or like aura effects or something like that.
Access to spells innately.
Yeah, he does stuff like that. What I often do is I either, in the case of the Pando Parrot, the first thing I did with the Pando Parrot obviously is swap it from a owl to a parrot combination of bear. I increased its intelligence and wisdom, so it has better saving throws on intelligence and wisdom. But I also then added in
because
the parrot.
You consider parrots wise.
Parrots are intelligence. They're
definitely not the panda.
The pandas are negative intelligence.
So you should offset it.
No, but anyways, I gave them a boost to intelligence and wisdom.
Yeah.
So I made them more tactical. Where the owlbear is like, the owlbear sees the thing it wants to kill, it goes after that thing it wants to kill. Simple enough. Pando Parrot calls or manipulates the party by using the parrot's natural ability to talk or imitate machines.
Like a Kenku.
The scenario I had when the party left a town of gnomes. That is one of those things that any group that is ever, you're looking at me now, any group has ever ran with me in a campaign, if they ever visit a group of gnomes, it's going to be pure comedy gold, but also absolute freaking insanity.
That's gnomes. It's like the kobolds.
Yes.
Except that you can work with them.
But anyways...
you shouldn't, but you can.
But anyways, they left the town, and then they hear off in the distance, "Help me, help me, help me." And they decide to follow the help me to a gorge. And they hear they help me in the
Little
gorge.
do they know they're about to be gorged on.
Yes. So obviously it's already automatically different from an owlbear situation because instead of being charged at by an owlbear through the woods or in a castle or in a cave or from trees, I've dropped a lot of owlbears from a lot of different directions at the party.
Drop bears.
Drop bears. Maybe I should make actually hybrid koala owls. We'll just call them drop bears, and they just drop down.
Give them the little Hazendees glide as well.
Oh yeah, I guess I can do that. Because they're so small, they can actually glide.
Yeah.
I had to come up with a name for that.
I shouldn't be telling you all of this.
Yeah, I've actually come up with also another variant of owl bears or beowls.
No.
Which is reversed owl bears, where they little owls with bear heads, and they're
Yep.
and they fly out of trees and attack people. But I never got around to using those.
The fun that you can create by just adjusting a stat block
Just
and
either
adjusting the behavior.
Yeah.
So with that, what induces you to adjust a stat block or behavior like that? I explained, for me, my logic and reasoning is to create a more diverse set of encounters for my players, so it's not necessarily what they'd expect. Mind you can't do it with everything. You can adjust some things a little here and there, smidge more health there, smidge more AC. I tend to veer towards more, to an extent, more health, less AC, or some variants thereof. But you can add in a bunch of effects as well. Mm-hmm. I try and balance it down towards the party in that. What gets you to adjust things? Is there a rhyme or reason?
It's my first and foremost, what I like to do is that I enjoy a variety of media. I roam the internet very thoroughly, and sometimes I will just at work come up with crazy ass scenarios, and I will invent or modify a monster just to play with a idea to see where I can go with it. Or I will come across a meme such as the pando parrot, and I'll stop and what would be the difference between an owl and a parrot, and how would that play out in combat? And I ask myself fun little questions such as that. What if I gave a owlbear fire attacks? What if I why would these owlbears now have breath weapons? I guess maybe someone infused them with elemental energy, and they gained a breath attack. They might create a new form of method. Yeah. Because you have this whole range of methods, and then you're like, there's clearly not a method of this type. I should create a method like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be too hard. You just change the type, so on and so forth. Yeah. Psychic methods, if they don't already exist. Bam. Yeah. Would it be too hard to make?
Mm-hmm. Steel methods.
So,
I don't remember off the top of my head. Is there water methods?
I'm not sure. I feel like they do bludgeoning damage.
That's one of those things, you could actually you can create a water damage or an air damage type.
Yeah, you could.
And build out that kind of system.
There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah. You can create a concept called water damage.
But if you have a group like ours and you'll tell them that they're taking 4 points of water damage, they're going to question you and be like, that's not a damage type. And then you'll go, it is in my world.
Rule 0. The moment the rules are in the hands of the Dungeon Master, the campaign world, even if it's a pre-built one, becomes the Dungeon Master. If the Dungeon Master is capable of modifying the rules, was to seek a theme or feel for the world they are trying to achieve. Now, the important rule of this is that whenever a Dungeon Master does this, ideally the Dungeon Master should denote that they have modified the rules
And you should pray they don't modify them further.
Modify them more further. Sometimes you learn some things, and actually we rephrase that. You don't sometimes learn something when you add something or subtract something. You always learn something. Yeah, basically, I come across something on the internet, or I come up with a goofy scenario, and I run through the logic of how to modify it.
Yep.
Based on what I know of the creatures or psychology.
For me,
biology or philosophy.
I think about I'll like come up with an effect that I want to try out against the players, and then from there I design an encounter around that effect. Sometimes going on the simple side, sometimes deviating and following around a whole host of related effects. Example, like the fungus fight, how that had putrid aura, that had poison condition, that could apply exhaustion. It had this big ol' drain to the player aspect to it. That also, when it used one of its big abilities that was on a big recharge, it would putridly damage people and then heal itself. So I'll try and design around a theme, or I'll come up with an idea, and then I'll try and build off of that.
That stuff might actually be good to put on like a Patreon or something.
Probably.
Just make a cheap Patreon, put $1 on it, and then like.
This is Fengus running. He's cool.
Yeah, this is the scenario we created. Oh, here's Jason's insane Pando Parrot.
Yeah.
Battle with the basic rules of logic that goes along with it. This is the special zombie encounter that from such and such day worked out. Here's a cave system or a dungeon.
Completely agree.
Yeah. That's something to go along after like the Discord or something like that.
Yes. Oh yeah, we haven't made that yet.
Yeah.
We'll make a Discord at some point.
Yeah.